Hello and welcome to another Murders at Karlov Manor draft. I'm Paul Cheon, and we are still well on our journey to rank 1. Today, we are sitting at rank 94, trying to crack maybe the top 80 after this draft. Okay, heading into this pack. Let's take a look here, and we have a couple options. We have Analyze the Pollen, which is just a nice way to find land in the early game and then find a nice creature in the late game. We have Hard-Hitting Question, Repulsive Mutation, and Galvanize. I don't think I want to take a 2-color card first pick, so I think it's going to be between Hard-Hitting Question and Galvanize. And you know, honestly, I've just enjoyed drafting green a little bit more recently, so I'm going to take the Hard-Hitting Question over the Galvanize. I do think green is a slightly better color than red. And Analyze the Pollen is also kind of the other consideration here, but let's go with the hard-hitting question. Analyze the Pollen, if you really want to maximize on it, you have to draft your deck a certain way, whereas hard-hitting question will basically be a welcome addition in any green deck. But if I have a bomb, for example, certainly Analyze is something that I would like. Here, the rare is missing. We have Surveillance Monitor, Rubble Belt Maverick, Leering Onlooker, Murder, and Escape Tunnel. And I guess to some degree, Museum Night Watch. Now, I know we passed the Repulsive Mutation, but I kind of want to draft a blue-green deck. I kind of want to draft the Collect Evidence deck. I want to give it another go. And I think Surveillance Monitor is a nice card because once you build your deck around trying to collect a bunch of evidence, making a bunch of Thopters is pretty awesome. And there's nothing at common that really stands out to me. So let's take the Surveillance Monitor here and see where the packs go. And now, that's a third pick killer among us. This is a very, very solid pack. We also have Shock as a solid removal spell in common. I do believe it's red's best common, better than Galvanize. And then you have Fuss and Bother, which is a better card if you're going to be a little more proactive. I love this in red-white, but it's just a solid card overall. But given that we have a first pick hard-hitting question, getting this third pick, pretty happy about a killer among us. One thing that we have to be mindful of, though, is we already have now a 5 and a 4 drop, so let's try to keep our curve a little bit lower if possible moving forward. And now we got, Repulsive Mutation or Loxodon Eavesdropper. I mean, I kind of want to take the mutation. Green is certainly open. Seeing an Eavesdropper this late is a really great sign, but I think these are the two best cards in the pack, and I think if I'm going to be specifically blue-green, Repulsive Mutation is what I want. But I do love me an Eavesdropper. I really do. I know in a lot of my drafts I've been passing them, but it is an awesome, awesome 4-drop. And I'm happy to play as many copies as I can get my hands on, assuming I have enough ways to kind of ramp into it. But we already have a 4, and Repulsive Mutation, whenever you get this thing off, it's just such a blowout. Such a blowout. I mean, like I said, the only reason why I didn't take it first pick, first pack is I typically don't like taking gold cards first pick. I would rather take the single colored card. But once you get it passed to you, that kind of means there's a higher chance that you can end up in those color combinations because somebody passed you that blue-green card. Here I'm going to take Greenbelt Radical here. I know it's another 4, but you can obviously play face down, and it's a very, very strong effect whenever you can turn it face up. Now we have Mystery Key, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't have that much evasion. So the question is, do I want Dramatic Accusation or Escape Tunnel? Oftentimes in blue-green, you kind of do want a splash, and Dramatic Accusation is kind of a mediocre removal spell. So I'm going to take Escape Tunnel here and speculate, and hopefully we can use this to help us splash a bomb that we can open in another pack. Moving into this pack, we have Dramatic Accusation versus Bubble Smuggler. I really dislike they went this way in general. I just think taking a turn off to cast a card like this is generally not what you want to do in this format. So I think it's between Smuggler and Accusation. We have no 2s, and Accusation is pretty mediocre, so I'm going to take a Bubble Smuggler here just to make sure we can round out our deck. It's a late Auspicious Arrival in a case of the Pilfered Proof. I'm going to take a Reasonable Doubt to, again, have another 2-mana card to play in our deck. So this is kind of our setup so far. And I'll take a second copy of Reasonable Doubt. I'm not a big fan of Riftburst Hellion. Airtight Alibi isn't that great either. So if we end up with a more controlling blue-green deck, then I can see myself playing a couple of copies of Reasonable Doubt. Here I'll take Bubble Smuggler over Jaded Analyst, but this is all filler stuff that we're putting into our deck. Now, we're not seeing a ton of blue, but I mean, honestly, if you look at blue's commons, there's nothing that really stands out. So this doesn't necessarily mean that blue was open or not open. What are the blue's best cards anyways? Projector, Inspector, I suppose. And we did see a late Cold Case Cracker and some Dramatic Accusations. So, yep. And here we'll take a Cold Case Cracker. I mean, it's fine. It's filler. We have more than enough filler cards. So I imagine some of these 2-mana cards, will ultimately not end up in our deck. So, moving on to this pack, we opened Teysa and Novice Inspector. Those are the 2 best cards in the pack, but of course we are far, far away from those colors. Out Cold can be a pretty good card. However, this doesn't really feel like an Out Cold deck. We're not really looking to curve out and beat people down. I don't know that I want a 3rd copy of Reasonable Doubt. So for me, it's between taking something like a Topiary Panther and a Curious Cadaver. Curious Cadaver is interesting if you're looking to, mill yourself and get a bunch of value with cards like Chalk Outline. But I'm going to take the on-color card here, leave myself open. This is a great way to collect evidence, right? It puts a 6-mana card in your graveyard. And this, along with the escape tunnel, is going to set us up really nicely for a potential splash. Now, this pack has Deduce or Vengeful Creeper as options. Typically, in my blue-green decks, I do want a good number of creatures, and Vengeful Creeper is a pretty good one. I'm not the biggest fan of Deduce, unless I'm looking to play maybe like a blue-black deck, like a blue-black control deck. So I think it's okay, but I'm happy enough just taking another creeper here and seeing where the packs take us. Moving on to this pack, it's a fairly weak pack. There's an Extract a Confession that you can potentially look at for a splash, but I'm just going to take the on-color dual land here. It comes into play tap, but Surveil is very useful. The fact that you can surveil creatures into your graveyard to then collect evidence later is really, really nice. So I'm going to take Meticulous Archive here. We had a ton of playables after pack 1. Don't think I care too much about passing an Undercover Crocodile. And now if we get like a white removal spell, right, then that becomes basically a free splash with the Meticulous Archive. I'm not a really big fan of Sudden Setback. So this is probably where I take something like maybe a Gravestone Strider. There's also Cease, Desist, and Deduce, but I don't actually mind a Gravestone Strider. We are lacking 2s, and this also just helps us get the splash. And if we do have a way to collect evidence, if we get something like a Chalk Outline, if this is in the graveyard, it's another way to exile a creature from your yard. So let's take the Gravestone Strider here. Oh. Wait just a second. Can we do it? Can we do it? I mean, we have... Okay, hold on. We have a Gravestone Strider, a Topiary Panther. We took a duel. We have an Escape Tunnel. What are we missing? A Dramatic Accusation? Gadget Technician? I mean, Gadget Technician is probably the correct pick. But let's do it. All right, we are going off the rails. We are going off the rails. And I'm here to entertain. I'm here to entertain. We are firmly blue-green, and we are now going to try to make Niv-Mizzet happen. How successful will we be? TBD. All right, well, if it's a dual land, we're taking it. Ooh, and there's a Chalk Outline. There's Public Thoroughfare, but I really want to make this card work. So I really want to play with this card too. So we're gonna cook something up here. We have a Chalk Outline, Surveillance Monitor, Niv-Mizzet. Probably should have taken the land. It's okay. We'll take another Gravestone Strider. Helps us cast Niv-Mizzet and also works with Chalk Outline. Okay. I've never drafted this before. Excuse me. I've never drafted this before, but we'll try to figure this out. Case of the Shattered Hand. Shattered Pact, rather. Great with Kill Among Us. Killer Among Us puts a white, blue, red, and green permanent into play. So all you need to do is find something that's black and put that into play, and you can flip it over. And of course, if we're trying to cast Niv-Mizzet, this gets us a land. This is a black permanent. Okay. Wow, It's okay. It's okay. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm pretty excited about this. Oh, and we got the Gadget Technician back? Okay. This is gonna be something. Is it gonna be good? Who knows? Who knows? But we have a Niv-Mizzet. We have blue and green cards. Let's figure it out. All right, let's take a look at this pack. Flotsam Jetsam is so-so. Prof's Eidetic Memory, however, is phenomenal. So I think I'm going to take that. I think that's probably the best card in this pack. Yeah, let's go ahead and take Prof's Eidetic Memory. Better if you have more ways to draw cards. Cards like Projector Inspector would be fantastic. But even by itself, it's still fine. And if you can sack clues, it's also great. Oh, man. This is exciting. And fair warning, if you're watching, I don't really know what I'm doing with this, okay? It's a fair warning. All right, moving on to this pack. Our white splash is fairly free, so I'm going to take the makeshift binding here. It gives us a white permanent for the Case of the Shattered pack. I'm going to take it over hard-hitting questions. We have 2 green-white duels already, so I think given that with the Escape Tunnel and double Gravestone Strider, I want that over hard-hitting question. Good pack, though. Okay, so these are our spells, and these are our creatures. Okay, what else do we have? Well, that's a Topiary Panther. Probably want that. I mean, look, we want to cast Niv-Mizzet. So let's play the Panther. And what do we have in this pack? Okay, so Branch of Vitu-Ghazi. Is that interesting? It's a face-down card. Oh, it only gives you 2 mana of any one color. Oh, that's unfortunate. 2 mana of any one color is not that exciting to me. Might just take another Cold Case Cracker out of this pack just to have something to play. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Still looking for some... Ooh, love me a Tunnel Tipster in this deck just to kind of ramp us. And we're lacking 2s. So happy enough with that. Okay, and now what? We're not collecting a ton of evidence, unfortunately, so I'm not sure how good this Chalk Outline is going to be. There's a Public Thoroughfare, but I'm really in the market for some 2s and a Collect Evidence card. So I'm going to take the Vitu-Ghazi Inspector here, just as a way to shore off our 2s. It's another Collect Evidence card. We have 2 basic land cyclers with 6, which is also nice. So I want to go ahead and take that. And here we have an interesting pick. Do we want to take Projector Inspector or Vitu-Ghazi Inspector? Projector Inspector fills up our graveyard, and it's great with the Prof's Eidetic Memory, and the Inspector is just another way to collect evidence. I think I'm going to take the Projector Inspector here. We have some number of detectives, so I think it's going to be pretty good here. I don't know that I want another copy of Reasonable Doubt. I'll go ahead and take the Sanitation Automaton just to make sure I have enough 2s. It doesn't really feel like a Fey Flight deck, although it does protect our other cards. Now, if I want to make Niv-Mizzet work, I do need to take gold creatures, right? Ooh, another Projector Inspector. This is making our Eidetic Memory a lot better. Look, I'm not even sure if I should be playing this card. I'm not sure if I should be playing that card, but we'll lay it out. We'll lay it out and see what happens. I mean, I don't know that it's going to be that hard to cast. But the thing is, if I'm not going to really be able to get that much value out of it, if I'm only playing this as a 6/6, so when it deals combat damage, deals X damage to any target, and you gain X like X number of different color pairs among permanents. So I'm not going to lie, I didn't really focus on that while I was drafting. All right, let's lay out our deck and see what we have cooking. You know, this, honestly, probably isn't a Niv-Mizzet deck, sadly. I think we have enough power in just blue and green and white to just kind of play that deck. But man, I guess I could have tried a little bit harder taking all the... It's weird, because it's probably one of those cards where you can't really go into a Niv-Mizzet deck unless you first pick it, right? Because if you first pick it, you can prioritize fixing and gold cards. And I think we were just doing a little bit of waffling between taking this and then taking just good cards and taking cards that go with Chalk Outline. So, not sure if this is going to make it, but we can lay it out here. All right, you know what? I'm making an executive decision here. Okay? I know we're trying to hit rank 1, but I also want to play Niv-Mizzet. All right? So we're going to do it. Let's go for it. Let's just cut some 2s. Let's cut some smugglers. This goes here. We can probably shave a land with Case and Double Panther. So these are the 2s that I like. We obviously need to have both Gravestone Striders in here. We want both of the gold cards. And then these are just premium cards to play. All right. Sadly, I don't think this is a chalk outline deck. I will have to go back to the drawing board to figure out exactly how to draft this deck. I have a couple of Gravestone Striders and a Vitu-Ghazi Inspector and a Surveillance Monitor, but that's it. So I don't think that's enough. I need, the blue-green 2-drop uncommon. I need Sample Collector. I need ways that can just collect evidence right away. The 3-mana 1 Forensic Researcher, the Tapper. Cards like that is what I'd like. So let's cut the chalk outline. I know it hurts me as well. Let's cut the Reasonable Doubts, because we do have a bunch of 2-mana cards that we want to play. And like I said before, I kind of do like most of my creatures here. And I do like Sanitation Automaton still. I just think it's a solid 2-drop. Better than a lot of people give it credit for. Just smoothing out your draws is great. And filling up your graveyard to have things to collect evidence is also a nice little bonus. So if I look at my creatures, I don't want to cut any 2s. I'm already kind of light on them. I'm only playing 5. All right, I think I'm going to cut the Deduce. I feel like I'm just going to have a lot to do with my mana every turn. I'm looting with the Inspectors. I have some face down cards. I mean, our deck is basically all creatures. All right, so let's do this. Let's figure out our mana base. 1 Plains, 1 Swamp, 1 Mountain. Great. And we definitely want more green. I want to say probably at least 7 green sources to go with the Escape Tunnel. Let's take a look at our colors here. Because we have the Double Panther, and the Panther kind of unlocks our hand, right? So we can probably shave 1 island. And, oh, no. We do not want, excuse me, we do not want Double Mountain. And having the untapped land, I think, is still pretty important. So this gives us 8 green sources, 6 blue sources, and then we have Case of the Shattered Pack, Double Panther, and a bunch of other things. I think this is about as good as our mana base will get. And enough thinking, let's battle. Did make one tiny change. I added a Reasonable Doubt to the deck because I was concerned about my 2s, and I cut a Vengeful Creeper. I decided to, it was either Vengeful Creeper or Cold Case Cracker, but with Proph's Eidetic Memory and double Projector Inspector, I think I was leaning on having a Detective over the Vengeful Creeper. So that's the update to the changes that I made, and let's see how this goes. Hand looks okay. Sanitation Automaton on turn 2. Vitu-Ghazi Inspector as well. Need to cobble together some lands. We have a Makeshift Binding, but not a Plains. But I'm sure we'll find it. Our mana fixing is pretty solid in this deck. And there's the Reasonable Doubt. Although I mean, because I have other 2s, I'm probably not going to play or pass. I kind of want to make sure I hit my land drop. So I think I would rather play Sanitation Automaton here to try to hit a land. Now, of course, our opponent can cast their own Reasonable Doubt, but... All right, so putting the Greenbelt Radical in the yard. Drew Niv-Mizzet, but we are in desperate need of lands. Now, we are playing 16 lands, but like I said, we have Double Panther and Case of the Shattered Pact and the Tipster. So half of our deck is mana, and we also use the Automaton to surveil, so should have a decent shot of being able to find a land this turn. Okay, ooh, and it's a tap land, perfect. So we can play the Meticulous Archive, keep the land on top, and then now we can keep up Reasonable Doubt. I think that's pretty good here. And then next turn we have 4 mana, and then we can play the Cold Case Cracker. And because we drew the Archive, we can also cast Makeshift Binding. If I found a spell to put into the graveyard, then I could have maybe cast the Vitu-Ghazi Inspector, put a counter on the Automaton, but we didn't. Target up to 1 creature. Do I want to suspect my Automaton? Yeah. I think so. 2-1 mana seems pretty good, and now they're just going to attack us with the Maverick. But we drew the land. We can now play the Cracker. And we can attack with a 2-1 Menace. So we got some evasion going here. We have a Cold Case Cracker, 3/3 flyer, with the Sanitation Automaton. And then we also have Vitu-Ghazi Inspector, which we can use to put another counter here on the Automaton, if we so choose. Our opponent played a second Rubble Belt Maverick, so they're doing the blue-green mill. Oh, they just milled Doppelgang. It's one of the best rares in the set, or at least one of the most fun rares in the set. If you cast this thing for X equals 2 or 8 mana, that's just game over. They're really looking for mana here, though. Unauthorized exit as a tempo play on the Cold Case Cracker, sure. And they milled a Living Conundrum. So we're up on resources here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and attack, and if they want to double block, that's completely fine for me. I do want to cycle this Topiary Panther, though. I wonder if they're going to double block. And then I can just face down Vengeful Creeper. Yeah, this is good. Although it's like, do I get Swamp or Mountain? I don't want to miss a land drop though, so let's go ahead and cycle. Why did it cost me? What happened? Anyways, I mean, I have a Fairy Snoop and also Gadget Technician, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go with Mountain, sure. And then let's play a face down Vengeful Creeper. The thought process is if I draw Gadget Technician, I can just play it face up here. Oh! Speaking of Gadget Technician, so they have a sample collector. I wonder if I'm interested in killing it with the Vitu-Ghazi Inspector. I can also just play... Yeah, like for example, what if I go Makeshift Binding on the sample collector and then also just play Vitu-Ghazi Inspector as a 2/4? Seems pretty good, right? I'm also afraid of something like a Chalk Outline next turn. So let's do that. Let's cast this. I think I want to put the counter on the Inspector. I think just having a 2/4 body is good. And then if we can find a land here, we can flip up the Vengeful Creeper. Is it a must? No, it's just what your opponents control. Okay. Underground Mortuary. Like this type of deck just, it feels like the sample collector is a key player. It looks like they're trying to collect lots of evidence. Oh, land. Give me an untapped land. Yes. Let's go ahead and eat that Gravestone Strider. I'm surprised they didn't put a counter on it. I guess they have like Insidious Roots and Chalk Outline, stuff like that. But we're getting in for 9 here. If they play Chalk Outline, I mean, they don't even have a target here. I guess they could target my creature. That's kind of a losing line, though. Lush Portico from the opposition. We don't have a black mana yet for Niv-Mizzet, but we can still play the Cold Case Cracker or the Gadget Technician next turn. And we have kind of the advantage on the board. They have plenty of things to exile from their graveyard, I will say. There's the Chalk Outline. So it did feel like they were setting up for that. Definitely. Lush Portico, land in the graveyard, and certainly attacking for 7 here. And I'm going to play the Cold Case Cracker because it's a flyer over the Gadget Technician, because this represents a lethal attack next turn. So now they need to find an answer for the Cracker. They can make a couple of 2/2s here, which would be kind of annoying. And if the game goes a little bit longer, they can just claw back into this. That's how powerful a card like Chalk Outline is. And this is the proper way to build your deck. With Chalk Outline, you want multiple Rubble Belt Mavericks, Gravestone Strider. Those are all nice ways to exile creature cards from your graveyard to be able to trigger it. Now they're getting a 2/2 here. They're probably going to... Oh, they're going to add 2 counters to it. So they're going to have a 4/4 and 2 2/2s in play. Although, if they do that, they just died on my Cracker, right? So they need an answer to the Cracker as well. Otherwise, they have to just double chump here. They have 2 mana up. Yeah, I feel like they were maybe... I mean, we'll see what they do. But for example, if they kill my Cracker, what, the 3/3 goes in front of the 2/4 and the 5/5 goes in front of the 2/2. So we get to eat a creature. And that does not allow us to cast Niv-Mizzet. Do we attack with everything? We sure do. Yep. Oh, is this eliminate? Eliminate the, yep. Okay. All right, they're fighting the good fight. That's for sure. I'm going to keep this land in my hand because I have double Projector Inspector. But now I'm going to play a face-down creature. And I have the mana to flip it up. And so I have 2 lethal attackers next turn in the air. So they have lots of resources here. The question is, can they deal with 2 flyers? Right? They're at 1 life. Now, if they can find a way to gain a good amount of life and also stabilize, like if they play the Spider, whew, the Spider would be incredible. Okay. Dramatic Accusation is good. It's on the Cold Case Cracker. They can now put a counter on their 2/2, make another 2/2 to block, and then we're kind of all in on this Gadget Technician. So they're doing a great job of clawing back. All right. Them sacking a clue, though, is fantastic. I mean, at this point, it should probably be locked up. They still have the play of putting a counter on the detective, and in their eyes, they go, okay, well, I can block the 2 things that's in play. So I think that's going to be what they do with the 1 mana, and then we can just flip this up, and that should get it done. Whew, that was a close one. Very close, very close. 1 in the air. Getcha. Ooh. They were doing the thing, and I feel like a lot of players have been trying to do the chalk outline thing. It's just a different way to draft. I think people are starting to get sick of just drafting white-based aggressive decks. It is the best archetype, but a lot of people are fighting over it. So what do you do then? If everybody's going red-white, go blue-green, right? It's going to be open a lot more often. It's very, very powerful, and cards like chalk outline, maybe even a splash Insidious Roots, are things you can get late, and you can build a deck around it. And the thing is, a lot of the cards in that deck, nobody really wants. Like, Rubble Belt Maverick is not a card people take that highly, right? And it's a key engine card in this type of deck. The only card you're fighting over is probably Projector Inspector, which is great because it fills up your yard, but the Blue-White Detectives deck, all blue decks want that card. So that's kind of the high priority target if you, as far as the blue cards go for that archetype. But, you know, you can get the Mavericks, and again, that color combination is drafted way less often than something like red-white. Here, I mean, we got the Gravestone Strider. It unlocks our hand. Here's the thing. If your opponent plays Gravestone Strider, you just have to know that that card's going to be awesome, right? So it's like, it's like, if you have a removal spell, you probably should kill it. I'm going to play the Strider here. Now, next turn, I'm not sure if I want to go Eidetic Memory or something else. Eidetic Memory draws me a card and puts a counter on the Gravestone Strider, which is nice. Our opponent is playing black-white. The Tunnel Tipster does set us up better for later turns. So that might be something that we want to do. I can also Repulsive Mutation, but Repulsive Mutation for 1 this early doesn't seem especially good. I kind of like playing the Tipster. I don't think we're under a ton of pressure right now. So let's go ahead and run out the Tipster here. That gives us a lot more flexibility on what to do on future turns. Not gonna block. This could be the 3/2. I still haven't memorized all the names. It was a 3/2. See, I don't know all the names, but I know what they do. Okay, so that's a thing. Alrighty. What do we do this turn? So we have hard-hitting questions. I'm pretty interested in killing this Neighborhood Guardian. But how? Right? I can just... The thing is, I can still wait on the Eidetic Memory. I can play a face down card that'll grow the tipster, and then I can play hard hitting questions on Neighboring Garden. And then my opponent plays what they play next turn, and then we keep up Repulsive Mutation. Why did it do that? I needed to use the Gravestone Strider. I could have used the Gravestone. Auto Tapper! I mean, not sure I was going to block with the Tipster anyways, but I think I would have rather kept the Tipster up. All right, going to take another 3, but then I think that's going to be it. This is the do your worst turn, and I'm really hoping it's not too bad. Okay, face down card, could be anything. So here, we can almost just pass. We can almost just pass. Alternatively, we can just play actually, no, let's just go ahead and play Prof's Eidetic Memory. Target the Gravestone Strider, and now it's just really hard for them to get a good attack in. Oh, that's a Niv-Mizzet. That is a Niv-Mizzet that we can play blue, black, red, green, white. Yes. All right. That is a Niv-Mizzet we can play next turn. This is great. Here, I do want to... I kind of want to keep up the mutation now. I kind of do. I think there's a bunch of decent combat tricks my opponent can play. And so I just want to... The question is, what do I want to put 2 counters on? Because we can counter something unless our opponent pays 4. Okay. Oh, so this is an on the job. This is an on the job. So we're going to block here, double block here. This is going to be incredible. They have to order their blockers. And then we Repulsive Mutation the on the job. And we can target the creature that they order first. So I believe it's the Tipster. Yeah. And then we just target the Tipster for 2. Boom. Was that good? Seems pretty good to me. Seems pretty good to me. All right, well, I think it's just time, right? It's just time. And I'm going to keep the Strider back in case they have a way to kill the Niv-Mizzet. And we can start turning the corner next turn. Oh, this is incredible. This is great. I'm going to get a Forest here with the Radical so that I can disguise it and face it up. Oh, this is an Extract. Yeah, this is an Extract. All right, well, I guess Niv-Mizzet down. Niv-Mizzet down, sadly. I mean, we still have lots of action here, and we really blew them out with that counterspell. So, let's go ahead and crack this. Go get our Forest. And now it's kind of a racing situation. They have the Flyer, but we also have a lot of aggression. Oh, Projector Inspector is nice. Although I'm wondering if I just want to flip up the Creeper. Maybe not. I think let's just go ahead and play the Projector Inspector. Yeah, we'll loot. Discard anything we draw, basically. And then we'll put a counter on the face down card here. Then we'll attack with everything. If they want to double block here, that's totally fine. And like I said before, we're kind of in a racing situation. But we have a pretty overwhelming board here. I suppose they can attack with the 2/2 this turn, and I kind of want to block it. I want to keep my life total somewhat healthy because they have the Flyers. And if that's the case, then I want to block with Projector Inspector. But next turn, we're going to flip over Greenbelt Radical. That's going to get in for a ton of damage. Yeah. 3 power of flying, that's lifelink though, is very, very good. Untap land would be nice, so I don't have to tap the tunnel. Untap land, so I don't have to tap the tunnel tipster to flip this up, to flip up the radical. So let's see, is that a lethal attack? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, I think they have to block. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Again, if they don't block, yeah, I guess I don't even need to overrun. I think it's better to just attack with everything. They're probably going to block the tipster. Because I can still flip over Vengeful Creeper, and that's going to deal +3 damage. Let's just go ahead and do that. All right, so they're at 3. Let's play Meticulous Archive and hope we don't get let's hope we don't get on the jobbed out. I think that's the only combat trick here that gets us. All right. All right. We at least got to cast Niv-Mizzet. Just show that it's in our deck. But we are 2-0 with this sweet blue, green, white, black, red deck. Wait, blue, green, white, black, red deck. There we go. 2-0. 2-0. Okay, what do we have? Got 2 lands, a tipster, a panther, and yeah, we'll keep. We got some 2s. We have Niv-Mizzet, which we might not be able to play for a while. Just going to throw that out there. Might not be able to play it for a while. It's a Vengeful Tracker. Because they played the Tracker, I'm just going to play Automaton here to trade with the Tracker potentially. That's a Plains. I do think I want to keep the Plains. That puts us one step closer to casting Niv-Mizzet. Happy to trade here if they want to. They could have an eliminate, I guess. No, they just want to trade. I'm okay with that. All right, let's play Tipster. All right, so they're playing a control deck here, it looks like. Blue, red, splash, black, probably. If they kill the Tipster, it's actually not bad. Because then I can play the Surveillance Monitor and make a 1-1. Otherwise, my next turn is kind of... I don't even know. What do I do? Yeah, like what? I don't even know what I should be doing here. I mean, honestly, I probably do need to play to the board. So I probably just play the Monitor. Just... Hill Giant go. We just played a Hill Giant. And then next turn, if we draw another land, and it's not a black or red source, I probably just have to play the Panther. Uh-oh. All right, so Moroi has been flipped up. It's time to race. And that made things really, really interesting. We just drew Escape Tunnel. So it's, do we play Panther? Or do we do absolutely nothing this turn again so that we can play Niv-Mizzet next turn? I think we have to play Panther. This allows us to keep pace with the Moroi. Hope they don't have a removal spell. And with the Escape Tunnel, we still have plenty of other ways to find the mana source to cast the Niv-Mizzet. But I think we simply cannot afford to just take a turn off like that. So why did they flip that up main phase? I mean, there has to be a reason. Nope. Okay. Oh, another land here. That is super unfortunate. Thing is, like, I don't even think I can attack. Like, what if they take it and then I just have really bad blockers? All right. Perhaps if they didn't have a removal spell, perhaps playing the yeah, perhaps cycling could have been better. Although they would have had a pretty decent attack if I didn't play the Panther either. So here's the question. I mean, I kind of need to sacrifice here. What do I get? Barb Servitor. That's really good. Okay, I'm just gonna get red mana. I'm just gonna get red mana. We'll just draw our swamp. Or Gravestone Strider. Or Killer Among Us. That's not good. That's not good enough, sadly. Yeah, we're just gonna lose to the Flyers. Sadly. I guess we can attack with this. And we're gonna take 6 damage this turn. Oof. 5 damage. Yep. All right. We need a way to. V2 Ghazi Inspector would be a great draw. Makeshift Binding would be a great draw. What does Etrata do? Okay. Prof's Eidetic Memory. We have redraws, folks. Okay. Eidetic Memory. V2 Ghazi Inspector. Removal spell. Swamp. All right. Well, drew a few too many mana sources, and we just had a little bit of an awkward hand. Now, that will happen sometimes when you do draft a deck like this. Thought we were looking mostly okay there, but there were a couple of key turns where I think we just needed to draw any threat so that we could have the ability to play the threat and then land cycle to get the Niv-Mizzet, but we didn't. So we just had to kind of play out the creatures that we had. Yeah. Oh well. It's okay. 2-1 still with this sweet concoction that we have. Our opponent's on the play, and we have a 1-lander. We have Case of the Shattered Pact and a Topiary Panther. So if we draw a land, we play a turn 2 Case, and then we don't have a turn 3. But we have Makeshift. But I'm gonna mulligan. I wanted to keep it though. Here, ooh, this hand's pretty good. Do I want to pitch the Cold Case Cracker? Yeah, it's the Cold Case Cracker. It was that or like Repulsive Mutation. But we have Prof's Eidetic Memory plus Projector Inspector, so this is great. I'm just going to run out the turn 2 V2 Ghazi Inspector here, and then get the Prof's Eidetic Memory going. Cold Case Cracker might have been better than the Repulsive. Just because we have the Projector Inspector. I'm actually not 100% confident on that. All right, so let's go ahead and play this. Let's just get this going. Start getting our value here. Get the counter on the Inspector. No attacks. Next turn we have Projector Inspector, and we start profiting. Tell me what you think. Would you have kept... I think the mutation is too... Personally, I'm like, look, I have the Signpost uncommon in my hand. I just can't pitch it. You know what I mean? But it also feels like I'm not going to be able to use this card for a while. But maybe that's still fine. Of course we would like to loot. Yeah, we can pitch the Sanitation Automaton. Let's put a counter on Projector. Keep it a little bit safe. Next turn we can play face down card and keep up Repulsive Mutation, which is nice. If we feel like they have maybe too much going on, we can also face up the Vengeful Creeper. This face down card is a little bit scary. We can't really block. Okay, well that's... I'm happy with that. Now this could mean that they have also some kind of a bite down on crime maybe, because they're getting a land that they need, and then they might collect evidence here. So it could be a bite down on crime on the Projector Inspector. Yeah, that's what it feels like. All right. Well, we still got to loot. They got to bite down on crime. We're going to take the 4 here from the Bystander, because on the following turn, the Inspector still colds it. Oh, another projector inspector. That's really interesting. The only thing here, though, is keeping up mutation at this point when they land cycle for another mountain makes me feel like they have a pretty big play next turn. They could not. If I had an extra blue, I would play the Inspector, but because I don't, I think I'm just going to face down a Gadget Technician and then keep up Repulsive Mutation. I don't know, maybe they play a Dragon or something. Honestly, it could also just be land number 6 to flip over a 6/7, which would be pretty rough. Not going to lie. We will not block. Oh, it's a Vengeful Creeper. Okay. No, that was like, yeah, that was like the perfect card. All right. Well, that is unfortunate. Now what? I mean, if I pass with 6 mana up, do you think they still attack? I don't think they do. I think they place just something, and that allows us to get a very, very big Repulsive Mutation off. But then what do I target? This is a... wow. All right, well, that tells me they have some kind of a trick. I mean, but it's like a pump spell, right? All right, I'll take it. Yeah, I took a little bit of a gamble here, thinking that if I keep up 6 mana, they won't be able to attack. Okay, well, they did have a dragon. Holy cow. Okay. All right, so we counter the dragon. We can play Gravestone Strider and also flip this up, or I can just play a face-up Vengeful Creeper. I think I just want to do that. It's the nice thing about this card. You can just play it as a large body. But we do have to be mindful that they can have some kind of a combat trick here. We are at 6. We need to be careful. If they don't have a trick, wow, what an attack. What an attack. Okay, let's go ahead and play Projector Inspector. See what we draw. Probably pitch the Escape Tunnel. The Meticulous Archive seems better. And I do think I want the Gravestone Strider just as another permanent too. So let's do that. Let's play the Archive. Spin that. And let's play a Gravestone Strider. Uh-oh, our opponent hit us with a good game. Okay, yeah. GG's opponent. GG's opponent. They got us with the Performer. Wow, they had some rares. Yeah, we should have just... I guess we should have just... Well... I don't know. I mean, honestly, if I flip some... I guess their thought process was if I flip something over there, then... If I flip something over there, then they get to play the dragon. But if my face down card is the 6/7 reach creature, they just die. Right? Like, even if they played a dragon, my 6/7 reach creature blocks it. But the Pyrotechnic Performer is quite strong. Thought we were on the verge of stabilizing, but we were not quite there, sadly. Okay. Okay. Let's go. I don't have a 2, but I'm on the play. And I think it's a little more forgiving if you don't have a 2 on the play. I have some 3s, I have a 4, and I have a hard-hitting questions. So if we can find land number 4, we can go face down card into face down card plus hard-hitting questions if we want to use that to kill a 2. All right, so we did draw land number 4. And probably just going to face down a Gadget Technician. They played a Prophecy Eidetic Memory. That could be problematic. Actually, now I'm going to just play Projector Inspector and pitch this Gadget Technician. Oh, actually. I guess now we discard the Forest because we drew the Mountain. Because next turn, now with the Mountain, we can just face up Gadget Technician potentially. Okay. Do I care? Do I want to trade this off? Or do I just play Cold Case Cracker? I can't morph this and kill something just yet. I guess I'll just play the Cold Case Cracker. I want to keep this Plains if possible, but... Wow, our hand is so good. I don't know what to discard. I don't think land is an option. Vengeful Creeper is nice because it kills Proph's Eidetic Memory. And I think Greenbelt Radical is better than the Technician in this spot, so I guess it is the Technician. Dramatic Accusation on Cold Case Cracker. Okay. Oh, we drew all our colored sources. And let's play a face down card. I still think I want to save my hard-hitting questions here on something potentially bigger. And I'm going with the Vengeful Creeper here. I'm just scared of the Proph's Eidetic Memory. And I don't want to let it get out of hand. So... our opponent's going to be like, oh, nice mana base. So the question is, do I face this up right now? Or would I play a Greenbelt Radical? I think I'll just face it up. They could bounce this, I guess. And that's a pretty big tempo swing, for sure. I could have also killed my Dramatic Accusation. Oh, that is nice. They get to draw 2 cards here. Is this a May? Nope. Oh, what a play. They get it. I own this now, and then they're going to attack. Wait, hold on. So it can they can attack and get my Prophetic Proph's Eidetic Memory back. So they do have to attack. No, that's not an oops for them. They draw 2 cards. I think that's how that works. When it attacks, gain control target permanent you own but don't control. So, yeah, they can attack with the Falcon and get back their Eidetic Memory. And we're kind of out of gas. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I should have morphed this instead. Yeah, I don't know why they whoopsed. Like, this is exactly what you want to do. It's not like a mistake or anything. Okay, that's good. All right. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and kill that. Let's attack. Blue, black. red. I'm gonna play this. I guess we just double loot for the heck of it, but because I'm certainly just gonna play the Greenbelt Radical face down. And next turn we get to attack for a gazillion. I mean, discarding Panther kind of stinks. Obviously, I could have kept the Panther in my hand, discarded a land, but that prevents me from playing the Greenbelt Radical face down, and I just feel like that's going to be just too good here. And part of the reason why I didn't attack with the Projector Inspector is because they're leaning on the Crime Stopper Sprite to keep my Projector Inspector at bay. And next turn, I can turn the Inspector into a 4/3 if my face down creature lives. But the thing is, if they have a removal spell, I feel like it's too tempting to just kill the Vengeful Creeper, right? That's just a clean 5/5 you get off the battlefield. This morph can be a Coveted Falcon, it could be a Gadget Technician, Fairy Snoop, it can be all kinds of things that don't matter. So you kind of want to just kill the big thing. All right, so this is a cycled Topiary Panther. They already had a 6-mana card to cast Extract Confession. That doesn't mean they don't have one. I mean, they can even go double Extract the Confession. Although the second Extract the Confession wouldn't be so good with the Case Cracker in play. They could have Bite Down on Crime. That's an Evidence Examiner. All right, so they're doing some sweet value things, but I believe that this Greenbelt Radical will win me this game. I haven't really run the numbers, but I mean, it's a nice little backup plan. I mean, they have to just make the blocks that they can, but they're just going to lose their entire board, and everything's going to trample over. They take 2, 4, 6, 10. Oh no, it's just lethal. Yes, get in there. Boom. Okay, 3 wins. At the very least, we kind of took a little detour, right? We started out blue-green, and we're like, you know what? Why don't we just play blue-green and just shoehorn Niv-Mizzet in? Just shoehorn it in. Now, would our deck have been better had we not taken Niv-Mizzet and a bunch of mana fixing? Who knows? But I gotta say that I at least tried, right? I gotta at least say, look, I saw the Niv-Mizzet, and I put it in my deck, and I just tried to make good things happen. I couldn't go to sleep at night if that's not the thing that I could do. Okay, nice little detective start here. Projector Inspector ×2 plus the Cold Case Cracker and a Fairy Snoop. Our opponent has Scene of the Crime plus Island. Deduce is a very likely card that they can... Not Deduce. The Counterspell is certainly a thing that they could have. Oh, Surveillance Monitor is really nice. What do I want to discard here? Is it the Snoop? Yeah, it's probably the Snoop. Or is it the Projector Inspector? Like, how much do I want double looting? Yeah, maybe it's the second Inspector. I don't know that I need to go through my deck like that quickly. All right, so they bounced my creature to get the tempo back, which is good. All right. Do we play the land? I mean, I guess we're going to play a tap land no matter what. So let's do this. Ooh, I do want that card. So let's play Projector Inspector, and now maybe we can discard the Snoop? Yeah. We have Prof's Eidetic Memory. Actually, maybe it was the Cold Case Cracker. I don't know. Let's play the Eidetic Memory. We're 1 mana source short from casting Niv-Mizzet, by the way. Let's go ahead and kill the Cold Case Cracker. And then let's put a counter on Projector Inspector and attack for 4. Whoa. That's quite the block. Okay. Why would they wanted to not take damage, I guess. Now I kind of wish I had the projector inspector. So I have a couple of options here. I can just play Vengeful Creeper to trade with Cornered Crook. It is a 5/4, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, let's just go ahead and play this as a 5/5. I just don't want to fall behind on board. We have enough things in our hand that I think allow us to get to the late game. Prof's eidetic memory of their own. All right. Ill-timed explosion. What are you going to kill? Oh, they just drew 2 cards. Wow. Okay. Right. Of course. And that's what makes ill-timed explosion so much better than the other effects, the other wraths, because you can just use it to just draw 2 cards. Okay, so we drew the Panther. So I'm going to channel basic land cycle this. I'm going to go get Mountain. And then I'm going to just go ahead and play Surveillance Monitor here to make a chump blocker, basically. Surveil 4. Okay, make a 1/1 Thopter. Let's attack. Let's attack. Dang, what a combo. What a combo. Next turn, we just play a 6/6 flyer, I guess. They drew a lot of cards, too. So it's kind of a racing situation. Another ill-timed explosion? What? Prof's eidetic double? Oh no, are they going to kill my whole board and the Crook lives? No, they don't. Yep. Wow. Wow, and I'm going to take 10 here? More than 10? Reckless Detective. Oh my goodness. All right, well, you know what? It happens. We can't even play our Niv-Mizzet. Oh, we drew the Swamp. We drew the Swamp, so we can play Niv-Mizzet, but I don't even think it's good enough. Oh my gosh. This Cornered Crook is getting us good. If they attack, I just double block, I think. Detective Satchel. All right. I think this is going to be the end. I think this is going to be the end, sadly. We tried. We tried to draft around Niv-Mizzet. Our mana was okay, but sometimes your opponents do sweeter things, like play Prof's eidetic into double ill-timed explosion with the Satchel. I mean, they just had all the good uncommons. Still not sure about that block, but with the Riftburst Hellion. But yeah, this is amazing. 3/6, okay. I don't think attacking with the Detective is very good. So I think we just have a double block here, sadly. And then what are we exiling? I guess the Riftburst Hellion is the biggest thing. And then the case gets solved here, so they get a 4/4 flyer. Another case? All right, so they're going to attack us with multiple 4/4 flyers next turn. Oh my. Okay. Let's kill the Detective. And let's attack, because this can't block the flyers anyways. They might just chump. All right, so they can turn 2 of these clues into 4/4s. Oh, the Scene of the Crime is also an artifact land. And we just have to chump. Oh, never mind. They also have Krenko. What is this? Is it rares and uncommons? Have we seen a common? Have they played a common? Okay, they've played some commons. Well, whatever they do, like they can just click things at random with whatever's in play, and we're going to be in trouble. They're like, should I use Krenko? I don't know. Should I make a 4/4? Yeah, that seems good. Why not? They can crack a clue, make a 4/4 Krenko and a 2/2 Goblin with haste, and they can make a 4/4 flyer that attacks. I can block the 2/2 with haste. Oh, and then they also get a Thopter with the Satchel. And obviously for me, at 6 with no cards in hand and just a Cold Case Cracker to block with, I'm just going to block so I don't die. And we'll figure out the rest. You know what this deck was? It was just the classic case of me just trying to do possibly too many different... And the Gleaming Geardrake. This deck is ridiculous. Gleaming Geardrake, Krenko, Satchel, Eidetic Memory, double ill-timed explosion. Holy cow. This deck does not mess around. All right, let's crack a clue and see what happens, I guess. They don't have a red mana for Krenko. Okay. That is a gadget technician. Let's play a face down card. I guess maybe it's better to flip it up and turn it into a... No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, none of this matters. We are super duper duper dead. All they need to do is animate some artifacts. Yeah. No, our opponent had a great deck. I would love to draft another good blue-red deck like what our opponent has. But instead, we try to draft 5-color Niv-Mizzet with no gold creatures. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? Okay, look. Sometimes you get awesome decks like the one we had yesterday. Green-white, hide in plain sight turn 3, kill your opponent, roll everybody over. Sometimes you try to get a little spicy. Sometimes you try to get a little spicy, and this is what you end up with. So let's kind of take a look at this deck real quick. We definitely had some playable cards. The thing is, I drafted the deck and I took the chalk outline and kept that in mind. But I think in my mind, I was trying to juggle too many different things. I was trying to make sure I had good mana fixing for Niv-Mizzet. And then I was trying to make sure that I had probably some ways to collect evidence to go with the chalk outline. But then I also just completely ignored the fact that I need a bunch of gold creatures for Niv-Mizzet to be good. So I definitely should have been prioritizing gold creatures higher to be able to actually use the ability of the Niv-Mizzet. Although I think in a lot of the games that we lost, I didn't even really get to attack with the Niv-Mizzet that many times. Like, it's not like, oh, attacking would have gotten me back into it necessarily. But that's something to consider. I just think I was probably just trying to cook up a little bit too much to make it work. I thought this deck was actually okay. We had a decent curve. Our mana was really good. Obviously, playing too many cards like Topiary Panther in case of the Shattered Pact can slow you down, right? Because that means you're not playing something on turn 2 and you're looking to get a land. And if your opponent plays something early, you get run over. Now, a lot of our losses wasn't because we got run over. They just did more powerful things. And we were light on removal. I know I value removal a little bit lower in this format than others, but we only had the hard-hitting question and the makeshift binding. And sometimes there were instances where our opponent just played something huge and there was just nothing we could do about it. Now, this blue-red opponent, I don't think we could have beaten them regardless. They just had a fantastic deck, but some of the other losses, maybe. But it is what it is. We still got 3. We had some cool games, and we definitely tried to do different things in this. And let's just say the curveball Niv-Mizzet, maybe we leave that to Sam Black, right? Sam Black is able to use his giant limited brain to figure out how to get this into a deck. Maybe we should just try to keep it a little more consistent. And I think if we did, I'm going to have to look back on this draft, but if we did, maybe we could have ended up with a more consistent, cohesive blue-green deck that's looking to collect evidence and get value that way with a card like Chalk Outline. But anyways, it is what it is. 3-3. We slid down a little bit. We are now at 108. So the climb continues. Hopefully we can go up a few more ranks with the stream. And maybe when I see you tomorrow, I'll have a higher ranking. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to hit the like or subscribe button for more videos just like this. I'll catch you tomorrow.